Hi, my name is Megan and I'm from the Congolese Children Association, and today I'm going to be discussing the history of rumba music.
My name is Modochi, and today we're going to be discussing the history of rumba music.
My name is Popol Mukilengi. I'm an independent Congolese journalist.
My name is Clarence, and today we'll be discussing the history of rumba music.
I started playing music when I was something like 13.
Congolese rumba music in UK, we don't have no influence because we sing in Lingala. We need to sing in English.
Hi, my name is Megan and I'm from the Congolese Children Association, and today I'm going to be discussing the history of rumba music.
My name is Modochi, and today we're going to be discussing the history of rumba music. Can you please present yourself and name?
Oh, my name is Koko kalambay1.
Okay. Can you share your personal journey with Congolese rumba music?
Really, my path in Congolese rumba music is quite involved. I started playing music when I was something like 13. I was in a boarding school called Kinzambi. This is where I bought my first guitar in Kikwit. So Kinzambi is not far from Kikwit. Maybe you know Kikwit or not, it doesn't matter. Okay, so I bought my first guitar, I think I was 14 or 15, because I wanted to learn guitar to play the way, to play the Pepe Manok way. Because it was 1973, where Zaiko created the Kavasha trend. And Kavasha trend was so big that all of us wanted to play Kavasha, to play like Pepe Feli, who is there in my book. And then because I was in a boarding school, and there I was doing Latin. Okay, I was doing languages. So I played music in boarding school, and then I played a bit of music in Kikwit. I remember our band in Kikwit was called Lolaka Bokulaka. And one of the songs from our band was replayed by Menea. The song was called Ndakwandele. Yes, so this was our song from our band. Then I went to Kisangani when we had a couple of bands. The first band we set up in Kisangani was called Student Band. No. It was called El Dorado Fracata in 1977. Some of our musicians was, for instance, Dupul Mosher or Lumbala. Now he is a politician. Yes, Lumbala. Who else you can know? Okay, it doesn't matter. Then we had student bands. Then I went back to Kinshasa, where I play now music professionally with people like Madiata. Play with Madiata. Then in Kinshasa, we had our band called the Kinners, which really means quinoa in English, the Kinners. Yes. Okay, in the Kinners, I played with someone like Pepe Gubal, which you know, which plenty of people know. And with Pepe Gubal, we played with Madiata. Then I came here in UK. I played music professionally for 2 or 3 years. I recorded a couple of CDs. And then I got fed up of music and I went back to university. And I did my PhD in maths, and now I teach maths.
How have you seen the evolution of Congolese rumba music over the years?
Congolese rumba music can be, if you have to write the historiography of Congolese music, I will really categorize it in 5 generations. There will be a generation going from let's say 1920s to 1940s. These I will be really calling it the very, very old generation. Then there will be a generation going from 1940 to 1955, which I will be calling the Wendo generation. And in the Wendo generation, we can talk about Papa Wendo, Bukasa, Antoine Mundanda, Polo Kamba. Then from 1955 to something like 1970, there will be a generation I will be calling the African Jazz, African Fiesta, and OK Jazz generation. Then from 1970 to 1985, I will be calling it the Zaiko generation or Kavasha generation. Then from 1985 to, let's say, 2010, I will be calling this the Wenge generation. I'm sorry, I really apologize if I'm giving these names like Wenge generation, Zaiko generation. It doesn't mean that I'm ignoring other people, but we just need to label generation, that's it. So I will be calling it the Wenge generation. And from 2010 to nowadays, let me call it just the 5th generation, because I don't want to make people jealous. Because if I cite names now, people will say, Atangi komo na bango, Atangi yabisote. Okay, so the 5th generation, but we can discuss about it if you want. Yeah.
Okay, that's very interesting. Who would you say is the ancestor of Congolese rumba music?
As far as the Congolese historiography is concerned, usually when Congolese people talk about the ancestors of Congolese music, usually we think about Papa Wendo. But there are plenty of them. There are plenty of them. All of them are very deserving, but we just label them Bakolo music. Usually when we talk about Bakolo music, we have got in our mind Papa Wendo.
You are the Bakolo Muziki, and would you mind giving their names?
Yes. So Bakolo Muziki, it's really Papa Wendo, first of all. Okay? He wasn't necessarily the greatest in his period, but he was just the well-known, the best-known, because of one of his songs which we called Marie Louisa.
Marie Louisa, solo inga enayo. Marie Louisa, solo inga enayo. Wapin combo Louisa.
That song was really a hit around 1949, I think. Around 1949, really a hit. People were even saying that Soki Bazako Beta Nzembo Wana Etelemisaka Diabulu, just to see how the song was popular around 1940. So Bakolo music, so it's Papa Wendo, D'Olivera, Léon Bukasa, Antoine Mundanda, Aduelenga. Oh, Aduelenga, very, very important. Yeah, very, very important. So those are really the first known musician, because they were recording, They got the opportunity to record. But before them, of course, plenty of people came who did not record anything. The first generation, before Wendo, you can see that they are still just playing Congolese music, a bit folk Congolese music. With Wendo, you see already the import from Cuban rumba. So that if you listen to a song like Marie Louisa really looks like El Manichero. So El Manichero, which is really the prototype of Congolese music, the one we borrowed from Cuban music. Then Kale Jeff came with something new. Kale Jeff, they were trying to sing a bit like Wendo, but they were mostly imitating French singers like Tino Rossi. So Kale Jeff really imitated a lot French singers. Yes, then Kale Jeff, of course. Luambo and Rochero, they also came with something new. And then Zaiko Langalanga came, and Zaiko Langalanga, very, very important, because they came with what we call Kavasha. And Kavasha is really, when you listen nowadays to Congolese music, there's a drum pattern which is very clear. Kak, 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 kak.
Qu'on avait découvert par hasard lors d'un voyage. On quittait Brazzaville pour Pointe-Noire, on était dans le train qui fait ta 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 ta. Ça c'est tiré de ce fameux train qui nous emmenait à Pointe-Noire, et j'ai continué à doubler les notes en faisant quand même des arpèges.
which you listen nowadays all over the places, in Nigerian music, in Ghanaian music, but really it was invented by Zaiko in 1973. So they came with these, and from there on there was a revolution. Then around 1980s, there was a new trend, which we call the Atalaku trend. So the Atalaku, which you maybe, did you hear the word Atalaku?
No, I've never heard of it.
Oh, Atalaku. So the Atalaku are those rappers in Congolese music, the rappers. They are shouting, and for instance, one of the Atalaku is, let's say, Bill Clinton. So the Atalaku came around 1980s, and really they brought a lot of Bakongo, one of the region of Congo, Bafleuve element in Congolese music. Then Wenge generation came. The Wenge generation came, and nowadays the new generation. But the new generation, let's say with Fally Ipupa, so Fally Ipupa, Ferre, there are plenty of them. Huh? Let me just say Fally Ipupa and Ferre. Really, they are reversing back to the rumba, the way it was played around 1965. So I'm really sorry to say this, they are not really bringing something new, because they are reverting back to 1965.
What is the difference between African jazz bands and African fiesta bands?
Okay, so African jazz and African fiesta are really the third generation of music. And really, they are really the one who built what I will call the classical Congolese music. By classical Congolese music, I mean the music of Congo between 1960s and 1970. Okay, so this is the classical Congolese music. African jazz was well known because of, first of all, one of their key songs, Independence, Cha-Cha, Tozui. Do you know the song?
No.
Oh, no, please, young people. So, okay. So there is a song which was very popular, which was written by African jazz when they went to Belgium, when Congo got independence from Belgium. Maybe you know that Congo was colonized.
Yeah.
Okay, was colonized by Belgium, and we got our independence in 1960. And before the independence, there were some political conference in Brussels. That conference was called Table Ronde. Okay, and African jazz wrote that song, Independence Cha-Cha, to celebrate the independence of Congo. Thing with this independent Cha-Cha song is that nowadays it was really the hymn of all African independence. It was so widespread that one Ghanaian guy, one of my Ghanaian guy, one day I was singing independent Cha-Cha in Lingala. He was singing it in Ghanaian, and he told me, "Oh, you too, you know that song?" I said, "But this is a Congolese song." So that Ghanaian guy did not know that Independent Cha-Cha was a Congolese song. He thought that it was a Ghanaian song. It's just to tell you how widespread it was. And it was by African jazz. Then when African jazz split, Calais Jeff was left alone. Rochero and Nico, they went and they set they got their new band called African Fiesta. But during that period, during the classical period of Congolese music, it was African jazz, African fiesta, and Oke jazz, which is also very, very important.
stated that the guitar evolves from the likembe. Can you discuss further, please?
In my book, I said that European element of music merged with African element of music in America, let's say in really America, United States, which it gave rise to jazz. So jazz is really European element mixed with African element like blue note and polyrhythms. A bit hard to explain, I don't want to go into it. And the same in America as well, for instance, in Cuba, in Haiti, in Brazil. The merging between the mixing of European element and African element gave rise to some other type of music. Now in America, black people, because they were usually in the church, so there they were really using piano, trumpet, and saxophone. But in Congo, I don't know why, we love the guitar, but we got the guitar in the first place maybe because it was cheaper to import. But we love the guitar because the guitar was sounding a bit like likembe. And we were using that likembe, sometimes they call it thumb piano or sanza. So if, for instance, you listen to songs like Antoine Mundanda, if you listen to Antoine Mundanda songs, he only plays likembe. But you will not tell whether it is likembe or guitar because it sounds the same. Okay,
that's very interesting to know. So in Congo, rumba is the main genre of music. Can you tell us about any other popular genres, please?
In Congo, really, rumba is the most popular. Rumba is the most popular nowadays, or let's say since 1960s. So rumba was born in the town, especially in Kinshasa and Brazzaville. Okay? And because we had a bit of inferiority complex, so everything from the town, we were calling it Mboka Mundele. Mboka Mundele means where you meet white people. Okay? In contrast with Mboka Basenzi. Mboka Basenzi, I hate the expression, but we have just to talk about it. Mboka Basenzi, really monkeys village. So yes, so really for Congolese people, town like Kinshasa, Matadi, Kisangani, these were where civilized people were. And everything outside this is where uncivilized people are. So this is exactly why rumba took off. So let's say that in southern Congo, we have got Mutuashi. Which is not far from rumba, almost the same rhythm pattern. In Bakongo, in the west, we have got some other type of music. Which gave rise exactly to soukous. So soukous is really the merging between Congolese rumba and Bakongo elements. And we have got Mongo music. Okay, one of the trend, let's say Swede. So people know mostly Swede. And in the northern Congo, we have also got something which I will be calling abusively Makossa. So Kavasha almost came from Makossa. Kavasha and Makossa is not far, they are quite related. So in Congo, we have got plenty of music. And this is exactly why rumba music is so rich. And this I have to tell you something. Really, we learned guitar from Ghanaian people. We Congolese people, we learned guitar from Ghanaian people around 1930s. Okay? Because in Kinshasa and Brazzaville, there were plenty of people from West Africa. And there we were calling them Bapopo or Bandingari. Okay? Ndingari really come from Senegalese, and Bapopo, because most of them were coming from a town in today Benin or Nigeria. Okay, so they are really the one who taught us how to play guitar. Okay? But now, if you listen, let's say to Windows music of 1945, and you listen to Ghanaian music of 1945, look alike. They look really like. So Windows music, or really Adu Elenga. Okay, let's talk about Adu Elenga. If you listen to Adu Elenga's music of 1945, because Adu Elenga's father was from West Africa, he was from Ghana. Adu Elenga. Okay, so if you listen to Adu Elenga music, Adu Elenga music, you really feel Ghanaian music. But now, if you listen to Congolese music, if you listen to Ghanaian music today still looks like Ghanaian music 70 years ago. But Congolese music today has got nothing to do with Congolese music 70 years ago. We changed quite a lot, 5 generations. It looks like in 70 years, Ghanaian music has got only 1 generation, but we went through 5 generations. Why? Because Congo has got a lot of musical background, rich musical background, so that we can be borrowing from one region or another. And if you listen to Congolese music, you will see that in each period we are borrowing from some region. Okay? Yes. This is why it's so rich and will be rich forever.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah.
In what ways do you think the recognition of Congolese rumba as intangible cultural heritage by UNESCO has influenced this preservation?
Yes, the recognition by Congolese rumba as intangible inheritance of humanity is really, really important. And we have been fighting for this for 20 years. Now we are really happy that it's now there. And first of all, it's very, very important for Congolese people because now our music is recognized all over the world. And the good thing is that now plenty of Congolese now are writing. Of course, now it's putting, Congo was already on the map, but now we are even more on the map because whenever people listen to that music, they say, oh, it's from Congo. So very good.
How do you see the history of Congolese music in the UK?
The history of Congolese music in the UK, the history of Congolese music in the UK has got, let's say, 3 generations. Okay, so the first generation was the generation he passed away. He is one of our elders called Fanfan Osese. He passed away just before COVID, no, just after COVID. So he played in OK Jazz and wrote a very popular song in OK Jazz. The song was called Jemelasi. Jemelasi o Zekaweo. So it was written by that Fanfan Osese. Came here in the UK around 1979, and it was sponsored by Stern Music. Okay, so the first generation was Fanfan Osese, and the second generation was Kanda Bongo Man. So Kanda Bongo Man came, Kanda Bongo Man and Awilo Longomba, very, very important in the Congolese music in the UK. Then plenty of bands started coming in the Congo around 1990s. So Zaiko, Wenge, all of them came around 1990s. Then around 2002, we forbid Congolese music in the UK.
Oh, why?
We did not like all these musicians. This is really a good opportunity for me to explain. For some moral and behavior issues. Because most of the Congolese musicians were coming here, we deemed that they were misbehaving quite a lot. I'm really sorry to say this, but I remember that in around 1990s, you are very young, but I have to say it, because you asked me the question, around 1990s, let's say 1995, okay, the talk was usually, mwana ya songolo mpakala, azwizeni ya talaku ya wera. Do you understand what I mean? No?
Yeah.
Okay. So it was the way really abusing of young girls and things like this.
Oh, dear.
So this was really one of the men. Then we kicked them out. We kicked them out for, how long was it? Since 2000. Nowadays, they are coming back. They are making a comeback. Yeah.
Okay, that was very interesting to hear. So what role do you believe the media has in the evolution of Congolese rumba music in the UK?
Oh, media is very, very important. First of all, as I said, I told you that the first generation did not record a lot. The second generation, the generation of Wendo, recorded a lot because there were already a media. There was a radio called Radio Congolia. I think that Radio Congolia was in Kinshasa. It played a big role in propagating Congolese music. And then there were some recording companies, yes, in Congo, like Opika, Ngoma. They are there in my book. Okay. And then, so the radio played a lot of big role up to 1960s.
Okay, as someone who lives in the UK, how would you advise the younger generation to improve their music?
What do you mean by improve?
Like tips that you have as an older generation person for them.
Okay, all depends on which music you want to play. If you want to play Congolese music, definitely guitar and voice. Okay. So you have to practice a lot of guitar and voice. Also, we have got percussions. Yes, because there's a lot of percussion. We also like shakers, maracas. Yes. So, and if you really want to be, you have just to mix up with people with practitioners of Congolese music, like, as you said, maybe will be coming, like Burkina Faso. Okay, if you want to play guitar, Burkina Faso is just around. Fiston is around. So may I cite some guitarists here? So I've got Burkina Faso, I've got Fiston, Kawele. I'm sorry if I don't cite everyone, but those are just the one coming in my mind. Okay. Yes. And if you want to sing, there are also plenty of them. So make sure that you mix up with Chancelier Mbwese. He will teach you how to sing. Make sure that you mix up, that you gang up with Sino Mangono. He can teach you how to sing. So plenty of them.
Okay.
What inspires you to write about Congolese music?
Okay, so this is a good question, really. First of all, as I said, I play music myself. And I like analyzing things. So I just wanted to analyze a bit where, for instance, I was already intrigued where Kavasha came from. Remember, I told you what Kavasha was? Kavasha is the rhythm pattern which you see all along, all over African music, that the rhythm pattern goes kak, 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 you know it.
Yeah.
Everyone, when they listen to it, they start dancing straight away. So I was always wondering where it came from. Okay? I was always wondering, where did it come from? Yeah. So my analysis really came from there, and then I got the answer. Then I say, why not writing a book? And then in 2012, when I was in Qatar, when I was teaching in Qatar, one day I was quite bored. I was very, very bored, and I found Pepe Feli, who is there on my book cover. I found him. We started talking about Kavasha, about music, and he told me, Leki, kasi koma livret. So it was really Pepe Feli who told me to write the book. So I started writing the book around 2012, but I was quite busy. Then during COVID, I had plenty of time. You know, all of us, we had plenty of time where COVID. We had time to sleep, eat, yawn. Then I started writing the book, and I finished it around the COVID, but I did not publish it. I was a bit lazy, again a bit lazy. After the COVID, I went back to writing something else in mathematics. Then when Congo, when Rumba became the intangible cultural heritage, a friend, Dido Pengo, told me to finish that book, and we finished it together. The English version is coming very soon, maybe by the end of April or May. So the English version of this book will be there for you young people.
Okay, that'll be nice to read.
Yeah.
What is your creative process like in terms of creating music?
Sorry, what is?
What is your creative process like in terms of making music?
Music is an art. Music is really inspiration. This is a bit hard to say. Usually, when you are writing music, you don't say "I'm writing." Really, you get it from God. That's it. There's nothing to say there. You get it there. Yeah.
Okay, why do you believe guitar is the king of instruments? Because you wrote that as the title of your book.
Yeah. Yes, I believe that guitar is the king instrument of Congolese music for one simple reason. And even in the book, I say that if you go in any town of Congo or Congo Brazzaville, Congo Kinshasa, or Congo Angola, okay, and it's an experiment everyone can perform anytime. Okay, if you've got 2 or 3 friends with a guitar, straight away people will be asking you, "Oh, orchestra na bino kombo na nini?" So just seeing you with a guitar, people think this is a band. But if you are working with some friend with a piano, no one will be asking you, "What is your band?" Okay. They will say, "Oh, okay, paya, okay, nandaka nzambe." So if they see a piano, they think that you are going to the church. Even if they see a trumpet or saxophone, they may even ask you, "Oh, are you from Kimbangist fanfare?" Okay. If they see you with how do we call it, tam tam or with congas, they may think that you are going to some folklore party or to some whatever. But definitely, if they see you with a guitar, straight away they say this is a musician. Yeah. So guitar is really the stereotype of Congolese instrument nowadays. Okay. And even if you see in Congolese bands, straight away you see, let's say 3 to 4 people singing, then 3 to 4 people playing guitars, and that's it. Really, think people like shakers, people like percussion, they're almost in the background, but it's singers and guitarists.
Okay, and lastly, what legacy do you hope to leave for the future of rumba music?
Which legacy do I? Books.
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 Actually, a good one.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for me. You're very interesting.
Yeah, there's something I did not talk about. Usually, people think that the literature about Congolese music is quite poor. It's not true. Okay, the literature about Congolese music is really wide, really wide. You see, for instance, this book, Rumba on the River, which is in English. Rumba on the River, written by someone called Gary Stewart, okay, which I will recommend young people to read. There is another book, which I haven't got here. There is another book called Rumba Rules. I did not bring it, it's somewhere, I did not get it. This is also another book by Fogus Zaidi. So Fogus Zaidi is really the creator of Mi Solo. Up to 1963, there were 3 guitars in Congolese music: bass guitar, rhythm guitar, and solo guitar. Then Fogus Zaidi created what we call Mi Solo. Okay, so this is his book. And he's explaining quite a lot about African jazz and African fiesta. Okay. Yes. So there are plenty of books.
Have you got a favorite line from your book or paragraph from your book that you would like to read?
Yes, why not? Okay, so in my book, really, I'm talking about 4 generations of guitar. I said that Congolese music has got 5 generations. Yeah. But as far as guitar is concerned, we talk about 4 generations. Okay. So the first generation is the generation of Wendo. The second generation is the generation of the creators of Congolese guitar style, which are Zakari Elenga and Jabos Komwenda. Okay. The way Congolese play guitar, we owe it to Zakari Elenga and Jabos Komwenda. Okay. Then there is the generation of Nico and Franco. Then there is the generation of Manwaku Waku, 4th generation. Then there is a 5th generation, which I call for guitar, not music, which I call really the generation of Alain Makaba.
Yeah.
Alain Makaba, Flam Kapaya, Patient Kusangila, Fikare, Japonais Maladi. This is the 4th generation. Then there is a 5th generation, which I call the generation of what is Olivier Chimanga. Okay, so the 5th generation of guitar is the generation of Olivier Chimanga. And the 5th generation, will I say, they play, the first and second generation, the first generation was playing acoustic guitar. Second up to 5th generation, they were playing electric guitar. Now the last generation, they go back to acoustic guitar. And now, this is now the sentence which I want to read. Now I say, nowadays, the fifth generation, everyone is almost back to acoustic guitar. And then I say, in French, I will translate. So nowadays, almost is back in acoustic guitar, playing acoustic guitar. And then I say in French, voilà la roue qui nous revient en 1930, à l'heure où les Ghanéens nous ont appris à manier la guitare. Okay? We say, I mean, now we are back to 1930s, where Ghanaian people taught us how to play guitar.
Okay.
I love this quite a lot.
That was
myself.
very good.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. Anyway, it was very nice to meet you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And I hope that you enjoy this.
Yeah, I
and
really
that
did.
and that young people will learn quite a lot from it. Thank you.
Okay.